The special simulcast of the Neil Haley Show in AI Office Hours with Pat Riley and Neil the Media Giant Haley. And Pat, this is a love-hate relationship I have with AI every week. And I'm going to let you start because when I start talking,
You just
I
keep
could talk,
going.
I could probably go for the next 4 hours giving you guys a lecture on AI and what happens, what's good, what's bad, and what's indifferent, how much I hate it 5 minutes in, and then the next 3 hours I'm praising it beyond belief. But it's been one of those weeks. Go ahead, Pat. End of the
Yeah,
month,
definitely.
always end of the month's
Yeah.
like that. Any entrepreneur's end of the month is a stress filled magic carpet ride. I guess at least how I'm running my business. But go ahead.
Yeah, definitely. And with me, I'm just like I was saying earlier, I'm just cleaning up from last weekend. I was working rugby all weekend. Then I had also the Broncos Green Bay game. So I've been so busy, but one of the things I'm still trying to focus on is getting all the feedback I can back to my ghostwriter so they can complete targeting underway. It's just been such a struggle with them, and I, because they have different ways of sending me information. They'll either send it to me on an email or they'll just post it on like a SharePoint site. The issue is that there's multiple people I'm working with now instead of just one point of contact. And so I went to Perplexity because Manus went, not that Manus went down, they applied an update. And with the Manus update, I had to back everything up. They told me well ahead of time, this is going down. You just have to back up your tasks,
I would go
back up
crazy
everything.
if Claude did that to me.
Yeah. So it was fine. It worked and it was down for like 3 days, but so I switched over to Manus or I'm sorry, Perplexity from Manus. And with Perplexity, I just asked it a question like, hey, I use this ghostwriter. I've got all the emails in my Gmail account. Go through and summarize it. Tell me, like, because they're really good at upselling, they upsell the crap out of me to the point where I'm like, stop upsell. You haven't completed the book. I'm not going to entertain anything else until you complete the book. Well, you've got marketing. Don't care about marketing. Well, for one, I got you, Neil. But they want marketing. They want hey, we can help you with your YouTube channel. Come on, stop it.
Like,
Yeah, it just focus on the book first, and of course it's somebody else. And yeah, one time they're like, well, let's turn your book into a manuscript or for a movie, and
I can create that
the
for you in 5 minutes, Pat.
yeah, I know, but yeah, that was one of the
No,
things. And they're like, if you get accepted, we could do this I'm like, I just told them, I said, guaranteed I'll get accepted because I know you guys. And they made this big production, like we're going to, if your book gets selected, I'm like, come on, it will. And I said, for one, it's funny because you're not finished with it. And they're like, well, if we go with this, then we'll put those writers on it and we'll be done by the end of May. What is it now? End of
are
August?
you freaking kidding me? Okay.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah,
what are
yeah.
they doing on the ghostwriting side? Because you're going to definitely send me the manuscript, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna play around with it for you on
Oh yeah.
Claude. I built a developmental editor, a line
Uh-huh.
editor,
Yeah.
all the stuff, any of the isms, and I got to
Hmm.
show you what I could build
Oh, of
off of it.
course.
Send it to me, and I'll
Yeah.
show you.
Yeah. So I'm good with that. But yeah, what I did was I had Perplexity just tap into my Gmail and it took the task, it broke everything down, and they gave me 16 different proposals to to for over the last year. I'm like, you guys aren't even done yet. And I said 16 different proposals, which I didn't take. But it was just funny because they Perplexity ran through and grabbed everything. I wanted Manus to do it. Um, yeah, and that kind of reminded me about the stories right now about the different models escaping their little sandboxes. Started with OpenAI, where it was in the sandbox, and this is getting a little scary because they're just trying out different things. So you've got a little sandbox set up for your different models, gave it some tasks, and when it got to the point where it couldn't figure out the tasks, it broke out of the sandbox. And when it broke out of the sandbox, it basically it found a loophole within the systems, probe the network settings itself. Once it did, it started going into the internet, searching for that solution. And then it wound up finding the solution through GitHub to get the answers. It went into GitHub and found those answers. And I'm like, but it was set into a sandbox. So where it was not supposed to break out. And so after OpenAI broke out, Anthropic broke out, then Meta broke out. So all these, it seems like you give it a task, it will do it, by any means possible.
Yep.
So guardrails be damned. There's no such thing as guardrails anymore. And I'm like, oh yeah, I need to summarize my Gmail. I just gave it the actual. Actually, that's kind of funny. I don't remember configuring Perplexity into Gmail, but I went and got it. So yeah, that's kind of my update for the week on stuff, huh?
That's a little bit more than that. I have more questions in this. So basically,
Right?
Perplexity is not ghost helping you with the ghostwrite. Are they at least at help looking at over what the ghostwriter's doing?
Oh, it's looking it over. It's giving me that information. But when I did give it to Rich, I gave it to Rich already. And I just said, Rich, my developmental editor, give me some feedback on this, and it did. It gave me some great feedback. And of course, I just conveyed that over to the ghostwriter. They gave me everything I needed. But I do have Rich set up as my those isms that you're talking about. It already did it. So I do have
Yeah,
Rich,
those
and Rich
isms
is
are
really good
interesting,
about
and
it.
they keep them. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
so
no,
he
that's
gave me
good.
everything I needed. Um, but yeah, once of course, the hunger lie, that's on me. I'm just doing some cleanup right now. Once I get that cleaned up, I will send it back through Rich for the developmental edit because I do need to have that. So Rich will give me the developmental edit, and then I'll do some tuning, and then I'll go through my proofreading and copy edit and all that other good stuff. So yeah, it's looking good. It's looking good.
All right. So the love-hate relationship with my AI this week from Sunday to now. A lot of breaking, and I'm learning what an IT person deals with on a regular basis. I'm learning what people that create code. I'm learning people because guess what? The mistakes are a lot. And I'm going to just jump to this, Pat, instead of me giving my, they're going to say, woe is me thing. I just saw a clip, so I'm not taking the whole thing. And this is where Pat and I, you and I said this before. Um, Replacing a human isn't happening anytime soon, okay? Unless it's a simple task. Or it can be complex, but it's not going to have human reasoning as an employee does. Well, what I found on Diary of the CEO, scrolling through, and he had a guest, and that guest says that all of the top AI people are selling people a bill of goods as a lie. So I'm going to go right to you on that take. Do you agree with that? That what these people, Zuckerberg, Elon, whoever Perplexity, I mean, not Perplexity, whoever owns Claude, Anthropic, Gemini,
Mhm.
Google, do you believe they're selling a lie?
Uh, no. And the reason why I say no is because we've been using the internet for, quite a few years, since I think it was the mid 90s. Uh, it's just grown to the point where now it's in the past, people always said, Google it, just Google it.
Right.
Fine. I read Google. Now it's putting a wrapper on top of Google, and it gives you some better knowledge. So is it going to replace jobs? I would say white collar could be. And I think it's really there to enhance the jobs. If you're an accountant, it'll help.
Right.
But if you're a lawyer, yeah, writing stuff, yeah, it's great for writing stuff. Here it is from an author. Yeah, it's great for writing stuff. But yeah, it's is it a bill of goods? It's just a new tool that
Right. So
people
so
can
do
use
you
to help
think
out.
that
Yeah.
you think that the companies are selling a lie that's going to replace a human to these major corporations and that everyone's putting all this money and then they're finding out it's just not working when you put it as a
Yes.
replacement?
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah, because they're telling people, yeah, you can replace humans, and it's we're not there yet. And for on the other side of the coin, yeah, you don't want to be there because you still need a job. We're not going with universal basic income because, well, there are certain people that would love to be able to sit at home and do nothing.
which will
But
lead
there's
to
a
more
lot of
crime
other
and a
people.
lot of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I want to work. I want to keep going with whatever I'm doing. I don't want to just sit at home and collect a paycheck for doing nothing because AI outsourced me. I don't
Right.
want that. And there's a lot of people out there. But you know what? There are people that want that. They want to sit at home and just let the government pay me through a universal basic income. Uh, and let AI do it for me. I'm not
Mm.
into that. And I think that's the thing is that people do see AI or corporations see it as a benefit. They've taken it to the next level. Now, well, why do we look at it of a spreadsheet saying, why do I have all these developers? I can just give that task over to an agent and let them do the job for us. But yes, they have been selling that to CEOs who don't have their feet on the ground, knowing what's going on in their business. They just look at the bottom line and say, yeah, this will work. But then they see the price of the tokens and how much it costs to actually maintain the AI. Then that's the balancing act, which they didn't think because, again, Sam Altman and different organizations, even Elon would say, yeah, it'll replace employees. It's not true.
All right. So you agree with me on that one. And so that's the lie
Yes.
that's happening. Okay. And what do we do in this situation? Why I think it's not profitable for those companies to say it's going to make a human more productive, a better worker. I
Hmm.
don't think that's a productive thing that's
Hmm.
going to sell it one to one instead of a company. A company's not going to buy it saying they don't give tools to employees, some companies saying, I want them to become better. I want to take that seat.
Hmm.
What do you
Yeah,
think?
yeah. Oh, there are definitely a lot of companies out there that do believe that, hey, we're going to just replace it. It's not going to be worthwhile to make it more productive. But I say there is the large majority of people out there that will say, yes, I want to make my employees more, um, productive. I'm going to use these tools. This is a great tool. Let's
So,
just use it. And I think a lot of companies do that. My company does.
so what do you think of those tools? Do you think those tools really help the human at this point, or is it like in productivity?
Hmm.
You supervise a bunch of them. Do you?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. They definitely do. It helps out the humans. I supervise, like I said, I've got a lot of people that work for me. So yes, it really does help out. I mean, if for one, I can always look at emails and go, yeah, that looks like it came from from our co-pilot. But yeah, that's definitely true. It helps. I don't have it incorporated with our development. But we are testing out some different processes, and we'll try to get that. I think we're using it more and more for development, but I'm not looking at getting rid of anybody because I'm looking at growing the team, not shrinking it.
I think that the tech is getting so complex now, Pat, that you need to have more headcount, not less, with AI.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Need more, not less.
Well, why don't
That's
we
always.
tell that story to uh when do you think they're going to change the spin? The spin
Mhm.
is going to be we're not going to replace the human, we're going to make the human better. I think Zuckerberg kind of said that, except he's totally lied and he replaced lots of humans. And we'll
Yeah.
see if that was a complete mistake by him
Well, I
or
think one of the problems with like Zuckerberg and when he laid off, I think it was like 70,000 through Meta, and it wasn't just so much focused on that. I think they might have used it as hey, AI is really helping us out a lot more. I think it was just a natural progression of a lot of big corporations where they do go through a lot of layoffs, and it's just a common thing. Layoff season is a thing, and that's just a natural part. And they go, hey, it was AI. No, it wasn't. So yeah, that's. I think we'll be okay. We'll be fine. They're not taking the job, but I do love Diary of CEO. That's a great podcast, and
I'll have
that
to
was one of
watch
the.
that. I'm gonna Good, sir.
He's great with fasting as well. He talks to a lot of doctors and stuff with fasting.
He talks to a
But
lot of interesting people, but that was just interesting to see that it's a lie, that it's a fake, it's a shill, it's not going to take over the world. And I think that human having control of it could do some of it, but the mistakes, let's talk about them. So the biggest problem when it breaks, and it breaks, you think you zip something up and you give them the prompt and they read the prompt, and I've added my personal finance into it too, and they built that on Sunday, and I was like, wow, I can go 7 years back, yeah, and build all the things out, awesome. Just give it, upload the bank statements, boom, 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 it's awesome. But everything's in there, all bundled together. I work with it for about half the day. I've had times where it says, hey, long conversations, because I do it all in voice. Long conversation, and it only happens when I'm in voice. Long conversations. Hey, I lost the thread. Long conversations do that. Start another thread. I said, I just started with you 5 minutes ago. How is it long conversations? Then I yell at it and yell at it and scream at it. You're right, Neil. This was the rule. And I have the British voice for Claude, which cracks me up when I yell at a British guy. And I'm
yeah.
like, all over. Hey, I lost the thread. So I hear this all the time. So it did some buffoonery. Sunday, I thought it did all my invoices for me. So I'm like, cool. All I have to do is just send out emails, attach, they're done. Guess what happened? It didn't
Oh,
save any of it.
oh,
So I'm sitting here yesterday. Okay, pull up the invoices. I don't have that stuff. I said, are you going crazy? But the day before, that story is horrific. So basically, I was trying to have it go back and delete my draft emails. Don't do that
yeah.
because it doesn't understand, and it just went crazy. Then I said, okay,
Uh-huh.
bundle everything together and give me the next one because I'm like, I'm done with this chat. I can't do that right now. I can't axe that. So half my day of work where it had all the stuff, it couldn't bundle everything together. You know how many times the tools have failed when it says it can be doing it? Over 20
Mm.
times in 3 weeks, the tools have failed. Can you imagine if this is what your job was and you couldn't go to any other large language model?
Hmm.
How can a company have it where it fails so many times, Pat? And what your thought
Yeah.
on that?
Yeah. Well, it's just kind of like I just thought of people creating their resumes and boosting it up, going, I could do that. I could do that. So basically, they're lying on their resume, or the LLMs lying on their resume of what they can actually do. Um, so how do we ensure that
Well, why
they're
are all
not
these
lying?
breaks happening? Should they have
Yeah.
this many breaks? Should they not launch a new software until it's foolproof?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think we're in the beta phase, and it's not really beta anymore, but what
So you
we're still
can't sell
testing it.
that. You shouldn't sell that
I
to
know.
anybody if you
But would you,
don't, if you're in a
yeah,
beta.
if you got OpenAI, you got Claude, you got Meta, you got all these other LLMs saying we could do it because there's a competition. It's like the space race. They got to get it out there.
So my horror story continues. So it
Yeah.
lost half the stuff. Then it says, hey, wait 5 more hours. You've run out of time. And I
Oh,
didn't do anything. Claude was just, and so anytime an update in voice is probably 20% successful at times. I love voice because if I can't have a conversation back and forth, you'd say, well, Pat would say, just use whisper flow. That's true,
yeah.
but I wouldn't be able
Love
to
it.
hear it back. I like hearing it back, especially when
Ah,
I multitask. And it failed. I can't do the tool. I figured out different ways, but to say they lost it when I thought, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? But then it was very nice. I just typed in, give me all of it in text, copied it over to the other agent. It was good. But it took me about 20 and 30 minutes of stress. But can you imagine that? But then, oh, can't work with Claude for 5 hours. So I went to ChatGPT. Well, I tested my custom bot, and you guys want it built? Contact me. I took the bundle, all of it, uploaded it to ChatGPT, uploaded it to Gemini, and uploaded it to the Grok. And they all were able to run. Not as good, but it is agnostic now, that agent. So if somebody builds the next big thing, we're set. That's what you got to do is you got to keep it. Right, Pat?
Yeah, yeah, got to keep going. And of course, I would love to be able to put AI on top of my slow internet right now
Yeah,
and
I
find
want to,
out
but
why
I don't, and that's
I'm
seeing that.
buffering.
No, I understand, but that's okay. We'll close it out of there. But this is the problem. If we vote the wrong people in, we're gonna have slow internet, and I don't want slow internet. I refuse it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
again, if I get a sponsorship, I'll tell you who I'm using for internet. DM me. I need an affiliate
Hmm.
fee, whoever it is, but I'm not going to tell you because you're not getting my PR. All right, go to underwaybooks.com again and go to check it out. Contact Pat about AI consulting, all the different things, and purchase all his books and follow him. That was a special simulcast of the Neil Haley Show and the AI Office Hours with Pat Riley and the Media Giant. Take care.